All right. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a very fancy gentleman, so I want to get fancy with this cursor. Let's also maintain the student data in an array. We have these lovely student objects. It'd be nice if we just had an array of that data, so we didn't have to go looking through the HTML, just in case we want to do something with it later. So how about on our mega roster object, we have a property called students. And we make that an array, and we'll just initialize it to an empty array. Remember, all these things are just properties, so you can totally mix data properties with functions. And now we want to make sure that the students get added to the array and not just to the unordered list on the page. Because the page is just visual. This is where the real data lives. So now what do we need to do? When we add student, we not only add it to the actual UL, we also want to add it to this array. How do I do it? What do you think? So my array is students here, which means it's megaroster.students, right? Which means that down here in add student, I could call it this.students, right? And I would get that array. So sometime after I've created the student object, I could call this.students, which is the array, .push, just like in a lot of other languages. So just push this student onto the array. Add something to the end. Refresh. Try adding some stuff. Let's add Jack and Paneet. Not Jack Paneet. Let's add Jack Paneet, and just plain Paneet. Now, how do we check that they're on the array? How can I get to those from the console? Yes. Hey. Megaroster.students. There's my array. It has 3 things in it. They are objects. This first one has an ID of 1 and a name of Jack. The second one has an ID of 2 and a name of Jack Paneet. Second one, ID of 3, name Paneet. It worked. Heck yeah. We bad. Add students to an array. Now we have this ID. Let's actually do something with it. Let's actually make it reflected in the HTML. Because I can imagine that maybe we would want to do something with one of the list items sometime after we create it. And we want to be able to uniquely identify all of those. So we could give each LI an ID. IDs, according to the standard, cannot just be numbers. They have to begin with a letter. So they could be like student dash and then the ID. Or we could use a data attribute. So data attributes are special things that we can attach to an element to let us store whatever we want, really. We can name them whatever we want, so you can make up your own attributes. You just have to start them with a hyphen. So we could say, on any given element, data dash whatever, place equals Mars. Doesn't matter that data place isn't a valid attribute. It's a data attribute. So we make it valid. So what we could do is on each LI, we could set a data ID attribute. So when we're building the list item, we have the LI, we set its text content. Let's also say LI, how do you think we change that? There's set attribute. Set attribute lets us change any attribute we want. We want the attribute, notice the IntelliSense here telling me the first argument is the name as a string. So the name of the attribute is data ID. The value is the second argument. And that is student.id. Let's see if it's true. Does it work? Other Clayton. Let's have a look at this LI. Right-click, inspect. There it is. LI data ID equals 1. It works. And that's not the only way to set a data attribute. Here's a neat little trick. If I want to mess with this LI in the console, notice this right here. Kind of grayed out, it says equal $0. That means is right now in the console, $0 is set to that element. So if you want to mess with an element in the console, you can just click it on the Elements tab and get to it here. So I'm going to go ahead and make a variable for it. Const li equals $0 so that I could change what I'm inspecting and it'd still work. Do not panic that this is undefined. That doesn't mean li is undefined. The return value of any assignment statement in JavaScript is undefined. It's just the return value of the actual assignment. Li is still what we want it to be. So how else might we get to that? Let's try li.data. Aha. li.dataset. That could be it. It's something called a DOM string map. Oh, look. IE1. ID 1. So li.dataset.id is 1. So we can definitely get it that way. Can we set it that way? li.dataset. Yes, we can. I kind of like that better. This dataset object seems kind of nice. So I'm going to say li.dataset.id equals student.id. Refresh the page. See that it does the same thing. Because I can't actually see these things, it is actually kind of hard for me to learn all 50 when I can't see the name tags the vast majority of the time. Matt, Adam, guy between them. You're the other Clayton, right? Matt, Clayton, Adam. Sam, 9,000. That's Nick. That's Bruno. What's your name? What is it? Oh, you're the other Adam, right. Too many Adams. Adams and Sams and Alexes and Claytons. Oh, my. Let's add Adam, Sam. Man, I'm not going to put up with that much longer. Sam, other Adam. Oh, my gosh, this is terrible. Other Adam. Do not do this to your users. Fix things like this. If things are driving you crazy, they're going to drive them twice as crazy. I'm sorry. I already forgot in the corner. I'm sorry, what's your name again? Matt. Yes, Gleason, right? All right, cool. Nick was there. Who's in front of Nick? What's your name? Yeah, you. That's right, Solomon. Cool. Let's look at these. Yep, the ID is going up every time. Let's look at our magical array, mega roster students. Go down there, compare. Yep, ID 5. ID 5. Neat. I like it. I'm going to commit it. Add a data attribute to each list item. Now then, I'm sick to death of this form not clearing out. At least we have auto-focusing now. Did anybody happen to do this? Is this driving anyone else crazy enough to find out how to do it? Anyone? No? Okay. Say that one more time.
You mean like how the name doesn't go away, so you want to clear it?
Exactly.
Oh, I did dot reset.
Dot reset. So after we finish adding this, we have our form already, right? It's F. Forms just happen to have a little method on them called reset. Let's try it. Remind me your name. Yeah, Rohan, that's right. Oh, cuss the lamentable day. Three, 391. That's better. Rohan, land of the horse lords. I think I didn't, let's see, I did form.reset. It is F here, not form. That's not a thing. Refresh. Rohan. It worked. It cleared it out. Now I can just type Jack. Oh, man. My life has improved so much, you guys. You don't even know. How else might you have done that if you didn't know about reset? We know f.studentname.value is what we've typed in there, right? So we could have said f.studentname.value equals empty string. That might have done it. F.reset's better. So we'll do that. Reset the form after adding a student. Now it's very important that I waited until after I created this student object before I did that, because that does change f.studentname.value, so you don't want to do it as soon as you enter the event handler, right? That would be silly.